friends, coming out to our families is perhaps the most difficult thing we face on our road to transition. Fear of the consequences of that act can overwhelm and consume us with thoughts of loss and abandonment. Jason and I want to tell you about our experience 16 months ago, on the day I told him about me. That we are standing here together should tell you something about how that day turned out. But for those of you who haven't reached that point yet, whose fear is still real, I hope you will take away our message of hope. I came out to my spouse 2 years ago, and while our relationship was shaky for a time, we were doing all right. My son had just become a high school junior, and I chose to delay telling him, not wanting to distract him from his studies. On an August morning last year, I gathered all my courage and told him that I had something very important to tell him about. I needed to talk to him privately, and I needed his full attention.
Immediately I thought, oh boy, do I get the pleasure of hearing my dad talk about sex today? But it was far from that. I was nervous, but not for what was to come. I had no idea that that talk would change our lives forever. Little did I know that it would change our lives for the better and even bring our family closer than it ever was before.
On the way to his room, a wave of fear came over me, and I knew that our lives would never be the same. My heart raced, but I began our talk by telling him that this was all about me and not about him. I had a secret I needed to tell him, a secret that I had kept to myself for 50 years.
So many thoughts flew through my head as I saw the fear in my father's eyes, and I knew this was something different, something important, something real. I listened with my ears, mind, and heart wide open, ready for whatever was to come.
I started with a chronology of my life, beginning at the age of 6 or 7, when I recall first thinking I wanted to be a girl. I saw shock and confusion in Jason's face. He didn't interrupt me and sat in rapt attention. It took me 40 minutes to bring my story up to the present time, to my decision to transition, and all that would mean to me and to us. One of the first questions Jason asked me was how his mother felt about it. I was so glad that I could tell him the good news, that we were staying together, and that his mother had accepted me and was supporting me, but that it was still difficult for her. I apologized to Jason for keeping things from him the prior year. I explained about not wanting to stress him during his junior year of school. I told him that while I had resigned myself to the possibility that my marriage could end, I could not face losing his love and respect because he was the center of my life. At that point, I lost control and I began to sob.
I got up, and she got up too. We reached for each other, both of us in tears, and held on tight with all the love that we could give. I was so proud of my dad, so hurt that she could not be who she wanted to be all her life, and so grateful that our family was still intact. I told her that I love her, and that I always will, no matter what. This was a great nothing to lose, and just so much to gain. Respect, understanding, and above all, happiness. I was happy because she was. She was truly happy for once in her life. And no one should ever be unhappy because of who they are. I knew we had a long road ahead, but I knew we would never stray from it. Whatever we had to get through, we would get through it together. Because that's how it should be. That's how families should be.
Later, Jason saw Carolyn for the first time. He didn't say much. He just gave me a smile, and told me I looked like a different person. That was all the compliment I could ever have wanted, and it made me very happy.
It was amazing seeing her for the first time in the family. And though I was a bit shocked, I was glad to see her the way she should be, the way that makes her happy.
Wow.
Jason and I have been closer this past year than we've ever been. He continues to support me and respect me, even while dissing me, as do all teenagers. At home, he calls me Dad, but around others refers to me as his parent or as simply Carolyn. I could not ask for more than that, and I'm very proud of my son.
I'm more proud of my dad for having the courage to face fears I can only imagine, and for even doing so much for the community and helping others face fears like she has overcome. I look up to her, and I know I can get through just about anything as long as I carry the same amount of courage she has, and knowing that I will always have her and my mom's love. This community, like my family, must find ways to stay together while moving forward. If I can learn to understand Carolyn, there is hope that anyone can come to understand and accept the transgender community. Thank you.